Your old PC starts slowly, runs hot, fills its drive, and somehow opens 5 programs before you have opened one. Then every video gives the same advice. Install a cleaner, press boost, and hope. The problem is that a full drive, an overheating processor, too many startup apps, and a failing disk can all feel like the same thing, a slow computer. One cleanup tool cannot solve 4 different problems. So this video follows 4 steps. First, diagnose the hardware before changing anything. Second, remove the real clutter and background load. Third, make everyday Windows feel faster. Fourth, prepare for the day the machine refuses to start. Each step has free tools, clear advantages, and one warning about how not to use them. Let us start with a step most people skip. Step 1 is diagnosis. Before deleting files or disabling programs, you need to know whether Windows is actually the problem. If the drive is failing or the computer is overheating, cleanup tools may waste time and make recovery harder. This step uses 2 tools. The first checks the health of the storage drive. The second checks heat and hardware behavior while the PC is running. The first tool is CrystalDiskInfo. It solves the problem of a computer that freezes while opening folders, copies files slowly, checks the drive during startup, or makes clicking sounds from an older hard drive. CrystalDiskInfo reads SMART data from the storage device. Think of SMART as the drive's built-in health diary. It records warning signs such as damaged areas, errors, temperature, and how long the drive has been running. The app turns those technical values into a simple status: good, caution, bad, or unknown. If the status is good, there is no immediate warning in the values the app can read, although no drive is guaranteed to last forever. If it says caution or bad, stop optimizing and back up important files to another physical drive or trusted cloud service. Moving files to another folder on the same drive is not a backup. The main advantage is that CrystalDiskInfo can warn you before a complete failure. The trade-off is that it cannot repair the drive, and some USB or RAID setups may not report every value correctly. If Windows is installed on a mechanical hard drive, also called an HDD, replacing it with a compatible SSD can make the biggest difference in this entire video. An HDD searches for data with moving parts. An SSD has no moving parts, so it reaches files and programs much faster. The drive looks healthy, but the PC becomes slow after 10 minutes. The fan gets louder, the keyboard feels hot, and a game or video starts smoothly before turning choppy. The second tool is HWiNFO. It solves the problem of not knowing whether heat is forcing the computer to slow itself down. When a processor becomes too hot, it may reduce its own speed to avoid damage. This is called thermal throttling. It is the computer version of walking instead of running during extreme heat. HWiNFO shows temperatures, fan speeds, processor speed, power use, and other hardware sensors in real time. Open the sensors window, use the computer normally, and watch what happens when the slowdown begins. The CPU is the main processor that handles general work. The GPU handles graphics, games, video effects, and some AI tasks. If temperature rises while speed falls, heat may be part of the problem. HWiNFO's advantage is that it shows the behavior while it happens. The trade-off is that it displays so many numbers that a normal computer can look alarming. Do not panic over a brief temperature spike. Look for a repeated pattern during real use. Software also cannot remove dust, unblock vents, or repair a failed fan. Fan control is a useful alternative on supported desktop PCs, but many laptops do not allow third-party fan control, and a bad fan setting can make cooling worse. HWiNFO tells you where to investigate. It does not replace cleaning or repair. If the drive is healthy and heat is not the main issue, move to step 2, remove the real weight. This step deals with the 5 most common software problems on an old PC. The drive is full, unused programs are still installed, too many things start with Windows, one hidden process is consuming resources, or routine temporary files have piled up. We will use 5 tools, but each one has a different job. The first cleanup tool is WizTree. It solves the problem of a C drive that is full even after you emptied the recycle bin and deleted a few downloads. WizTree scans the drive and shows folders by size, plus a visual map made of rectangles. A huge rectangle means a huge file or folder. Forgotten screen recordings, game libraries, phone backups, old installers, and video projects become easy to spot. WizTree is unusually fast because it can read the drive's existing file index instead of opening every folder one by one. In plain English, it reads the library catalog rather than walking through every shelf. Its advantage is speed and clarity. You can usually see the main storage hogs within seconds. The trade-off is that WizTree only shows what is large. It does not know what is safe to delete. Windows folders, recovery data, and program files may be large for a reason. Start with places you recognize, such as downloads, videos, desktop, and old projects. If a program is using the space, uninstall it properly instead of deleting its folder. Tree size free is a good alternative if you prefer a normal folder list, while Windows storage settings are safer for basic temporary file cleanup. WizTree may reveal 10 years of abandoned software. Old printer tools, game launchers, antivirus trials, and utilities from devices you no longer own. The next tool is Bulk Crap Uninstaller, usually called BCU. It solves the problem of removing many programs properly without leaving pieces scattered across Windows. BCU detects normal programs, Microsoft Store apps, portable software, hidden entries, broken uninstallers, and some games. It can remove several programs in one session and then search for leftovers. The main advantage is that it usually uses the program's own uninstaller first. That matters because uninstalling involves more than deleting one folder. A program may also create background services, scheduled tasks, shortcuts, and Windows settings. The trade-off is that BCU gives you enough control to remove something important. Drivers, Microsoft runtimes, audio tools, touchpad software, and hardware utilities can look boring while being necessary. Remove a few obvious programs, restart, and check the PC. Use force uninstall only when you understand why the normal removal failed. Windows installed apps is slower but safer when you only need to remove one or two ordinary programs. The PC has fewer programs, but starting Windows still feels like opening a shopping mall. Cloud storage, chat apps, printer helpers, game launchers, and update checkers all begin working before you do. The next tool is Autoruns from Microsoft sysinternals. It solves the problem of software starting automatically from places that Task Manager does not show. Beginners should check Task Manager's Startup Apps page first. Autoruns goes deeper and can reveal login programs, scheduled tasks, services, Explorer extensions, and drivers. A service is a program that runs in the background without a normal window. A scheduled task tells Windows to run something after an event or at a certain time. Autoruns can hide signed Microsoft entries, so you can focus on third-party software. It can also verify digital signatures, which are like tamper seals showing who published a file. The advantage is that Autoruns can expose startup clutter other tools miss. The trade-off is that unfamiliar does not mean dangerous. Uncheck an entry instead of deleting it, restart, and test the computer. If the printer, audio, touchpad, or backup tool stops working correctly, enable it again. Change one or two entries at a time. Autoruns can reduce startup time, but deleting a driver because the name looked strange is how a slow PC becomes a broken PC. Sometimes the slowdown is not at startup. The disk suddenly reaches 100%, memory fills up, or the processor remains busy while no normal app is open. The next tool is Process Explorer. It solves the problem of Task Manager showing that something is wrong without clearly explaining what is causing it. Process Explorer displays active processes in a family tree, so you can see which program launched which smaller process. A process is simply a running piece of software. Chrome may use several processes because tabs and features are separated. That is normal. Process Explorer can show the company name, file location, resource use, and which files a process has open. It is useful when Windows says a file is in use but refuses to name the program holding it. It can also reveal an updater, backup utility, or browser tool consuming resources in the background. The advantage is detail. The trade-off is that Windows contains legitimate components with strange names. Do not close everything unfamiliar. check the publisher, file path, and whether the high usage continues. 10 seconds of high CPU during an update is normal. An hour every day deserves investigation. Task Manager is easier. Process Explorer is for the problem Task Manager notices but cannot explain. The final tool in Step 2 is Microsoft PC Manager. It solves the simpler question: can one normal-looking app handle routine cleanup without turning the PC into a technical project? PC Manager combines temporary file cleanup, large file discovery, startup controls, security shortcuts, and links to built-in Windows tools. The interface is easier than Autoruns or Process Explorer, so it is useful for basic maintenance. The Boost button can clear temporary files and close some temporary memory use, but it does not add RAM, upgrade the processor, or repair hardware. RAM is the computer's short-term workspace. Closing programs frees space on the desk. It does not make the desk larger. The advantage of PC Manager is simplicity. The trade-off is that many of its functions already exist in Windows, and careless cleanup can still remove files you wanted. Review every category before deleting. Do not remove downloads or personal files only because they are old. Windows Storage Sense is a built-in alternative that can automatically clear temporary files according to your settings. BleachBit is an open-source alternative for people who want more control and a preview. Do not run several cleaners one after another. They mostly chase the same files. Skip registry cleaners entirely. The registry is a database of Windows and program settings. Removing a few old entries rarely creates noticeable speed, while removing the wrong one can create serious problems. Step 3 is not about repairing Windows. It is about removing one daily frustration that makes an old PC feel slower than it is. You know a file exists, you remember part of the name, and Windows Search shows web results, settings, and everything except the document sitting on the same drive. This step needs one lightweight tool. The tool is everything from Void Tools. It solves slow and unreliable file searching. Everything creates a small index of file and folder names and updates it as the drive changes. An index is a prepared list, like the index at the back of a book. Instead of rereading the entire book, the app jumps directly to matching entries. Search part of a file name, a file type such as PDF, or a folder name, and results appear almost immediately. It can also filter by size and date. The advantage is that it improves something you may do every day, so the whole computer feels more responsive. It is also small and uses very few resources. The trade-off is that everything mainly searches names and paths. It does not automatically understand the words inside every document. It can also find system files instantly, so locating something does not mean it is safe to delete. Unlike many optimization tools, everything does not promise to make the processor faster. It simply stops Windows from wasting your time. Step 4 is preparation. The computer may now be healthier, cleaner, and easier to use, but every old PC eventually reaches a day when Windows will not start, an update fails, or the internal drive needs replacing. This step uses two tools. One creates a recovery USB, the other creates a complete image of the machine. The first recovery tool is Ventoy. It solves the problem of needing repair software when the computer cannot reach the Windows desktop. Ventoy turns one USB stick into a menu of bootable tools. Bootable means the PC can start from the USB instead of the broken Windows installation. An ISO is a packaged copy of an installation or recovery disk. Normally, creating a bootable USB for one ISO erases the USB and writes that single tool. With Ventoy, you install it once, then copy several ISO files onto the USB like normal files. When the PC starts from the USB, you can choose Windows installation media, a rescue environment, a memory test, or Rescuezilla from a menu. The advantage is that one USB can hold several repair tools. The trade-off appears during setup. Installing Ventoy formats the selected USB and erases it. Confirm the drive letter and capacity twice. Secure Boot, which checks startup software, may require an extra setup step on some computers. Rufus is simpler when you need one tool on one USB. Ventoy is better when you want a recovery toolbox ready before the emergency. The final tool is Rescuezilla. It solves the problem people usually prepare for one day too late. The drive fails, Windows will not start, or an upgrade goes wrong. Your personal files may be backed up, but rebuilding the PC still means reinstalling Windows, programs, drivers, and years of settings. Rescuezilla creates a complete image of the drive. A disk image is a snapshot of the whole storage device, not only the files you can see. A normal file backup saves the furniture. A disk image saves the furniture, walls, wiring, and room layout. Rescuezilla runs from a bootable USB, so it can back up or restore the computer even when Windows cannot start. It can also clone an old drive to a replacement. Cloning means making the new drive resemble the old one, so the computer can continue from the same point. The advantage is that one image can restore the entire system. The trade-off is that you need another drive with enough free space, and choosing the wrong source or destination can overwrite the wrong disk. The source is what you copy from. The destination is where data is written. Read both names carefully. Rescuezilla is not an automatic daily backup, and an old image does not contain new files. Use it before replacing an HDD with an SSD, before a major reinstall, and after the computer reaches a stable state you would be happy to restore. That is the full approach. Step 1. Diagnoses the drive and heat with CrystalDiskInfo and HWiNFO. Step 2. Removes storage clutter, unused programs, startup load, hidden processes, and temporary files with WizTree, BCU, Autoruns, Process Explorer, and PC Manager. Step 3 makes everyday searching faster with everything. Step 4 prepares the recovery USB and full system image with Ventoy and Rescuezilla. There are still 3 things no optimizer can fix. Software cannot turn 4 GB of RAM into 16. It cannot make a mechanical hard drive behave like an SSD. And it cannot restore security support to an unsupported operating system. Windows 10 stopped receiving free security updates in October 2025, so a faster Windows 10 PC can still be unsafe unless it is covered by an eligible update program or moved to a supported system. The goal is not to install 10 tools and hope. It is to follow the steps, solve the problem you actually have, and know when the honest answer is cleanup, repair, a small hardware upgrade, or retirement.